Hi everyone. I want to talk about the moment that I took on Havasu Falls and how it was an example of trusting your training. You see, Havasu Falls is this epic place. It's photographed all the time. It has these amazing turquoise waters, and it's to the west of the Grand Canyon. It's part of the Havasu Reservation, and it's this one place on my life list that I really want to go. Permits are crazy hard to get. In fact, on February 1st they go live, and within a few hours they're just gone. Now, the first part of the hike didn't intimidate me that much. I mean, it was 12 miles in and out of the canyon. But there was this other part. It's Mooney Falls. And Mooney Falls is this absolute sheer drop down, 100 feet. And essentially, you're holding on to a wet chain, traversing this terrain that is like little notches carved into the rock. And I'm afraid of heights. So, as I started to prepare for this hike, I remember telling my husband, Chris, listen, we're going to go to Havasu Falls. It's going to be amazing. We're just going to camp 2 nights. And there's this other part. Sounds really great, but it sounds really dangerous, and I don't think we're going to do it. But I started to meet with my friend Jay Jacobs, who was part of The Biggest Loser. He's this wellness navigator. And I shared that I really wanted to take on this hike with him. And together, we started to come up with a plan to do it. What I learned from this moment, not the moment of hiking Havasu Falls, but the moment of deciding that I wanted to train for the hard part, was that if you come up with the plan and you follow through with the work, you can get yourself ready for some of the scariest, most frightening, terrifying things of your life. I worked with Jay to come up with things that would expose me to the kind of movements that I wasn't used to doing. Things like stepping on the ladder mill at the YMCA, this moving ladder, so I could get into the habit of moving my feet up a ladder, because as somebody who struggled with weight, I hate ladders. As somebody who struggled with heights, I hate ladders. I started using things like the Versa climber and doing TRX classes so I could trust myself with my body weight, feel like I could pull myself up in a moment of need if my foot slipped on the slippery rock. And by the time I was ready to go to Havasu Falls, not only was I physically trained, but I was mentally trained. Because there was one other part of the training, and this is something that we do in binge eating therapy a lot, which is exposure therapy. Now, couldn't go and go down a sheer face of a rock, but I could watch other people do it. I would go on YouTube, because everybody's got a GoPro these days, it seems, and a lot of people film themselves going down this sheer face of the rock. And every day before I left for that hike, I watched somebody else go down Mooney Falls. So by the time I got there, yes, I almost backed out 2 times. I think there was a moment where I said to Chris, isn't this enough? Let's go back. You go in. But when he said, no, I'll go down, I'll just meet you at the top, I said, no. I really want to do this. But by the time I got there, I knew every step of the way. I knew how to traverse. I knew the part where there was a cave. I knew the part where there was a ladder. I knew exactly how many steps it took people to do it. So I was ready by the time I arrived. So what I learned from this experience is that most things in life are trainable, including the mental part. That it is equally important to think about how to conquer something physically, emotionally, mentally. In fact, when I climbed Kilimanjaro the first time, I would lay on the yoga mat in Savasana, that part where it looked like you were sleeping, and I would imagine myself to the top of the mountain before I ever got there. So don't forget that part of training your mind of the possibilities that lie ahead.